guys have questions, if you want, you can get started. I don't necessarily have any lead story. We're in third practice and first day of pads, and we have the normal group out here, and we have great effort, and guys are doing really well, but obviously way too early to know much. But I'll field whatever questions that you have. Okay, that's a wrap.
How's the early process getting to know Coach Knowles and installing the things that he wants to do?
He's doing really well. We don't know each other real well. I didn't have a relationship with Coach prior to him coming here. I'm standing back and watching him work, and he's enjoying the process, putting in his system and what he and the other guys on the defense believe can be the most successful in this league.
Can you sort of revisit Mike? You said you didn't really have much of a prior relationship with him. What did you like when you spoke to him that kind of made you think he could be the guy?
I interviewed a lot of really good candidates. Well, we did. There were 7 of us that interviewed. I think it was 7 coaches, different coaches. And we were looking for a certain quality, and he kind of met the criteria. I did not have a relationship with him. I scanned the internet and looked for coaches who had had success at schools that maybe not had the same talent as other schools. And he had been considerably successful for a number of years. He's a Cornell grad. He's a head coach in the Ivy League. He's been a Wall Street guy, very intelligent. I have found that smart people generally become very good coaches. And so after his interview, I was somewhat satisfied that he'd be a quality defensive coordinator here.
Why did you feel the need to make a change?
I didn't hear.
Why did you feel the need to make a change?
We just needed a change. I mean, we just kind of needed some new blood, needed a change.
How much are you into watching practice demeanor of a coach? And how important is it to see the way a guy teaches and relates to the players?
Coaches and teachers, parents, it's the same. Everybody's different in their approach, and there's different ways to be successful. And as I said, today was the first day of pads. So you find out a lot more about a coach in pads than you do in shorts. But from a distance, I've watched more defense the last 3 practices than I have over my first 14 years or 13 years, however many years I've been here. And I like the way our guys are operating, and we got a lot of work ahead of us. We've got to find what positions certain guys fit in and how they can benefit our team the most on that side of the ball. You'd like to think after spring ball we'd have a pretty good idea of what direction to go as a team.
Obviously, it's a different scheme to the defense, 4-2-5. How important was that when you were looking for a coach, finding a defense that you feel like fits the Big 12?
Not really. I interviewed some 3-down guys, some 4-3 guys. Not as much as looking for the right person. This league has had success in 3-down. 4-down, so I think it's more of being able to implement your system and handling this league more so than whether it's 3 or 4 down. But he's a 4-2-5 guy. I mean, he's got a long history, and his background is he's tied in a little bit with Gary Patterson, and so you're looking at a very similar style of defense.
From what you've seen in practice, what is he like interacting with the players?
I mean, he's commanding the defense is what I would say, and at this point, he's pretty active. I think that the Wall Street approach and the Ivy League image that he gives is not really the way he coaches. But he's been very successful in many different ways, and we'll know a lot more in a month.
Quarterback play so far and offensive play in general, how have you felt about what you've seen?
Well, we're going to run our plays. We're not doing anything different now than we did last year. Cornelius is out there and Woodtey's out there. Those guys are getting the work. And when our 2s are out there, for the most part, other than Woodtey, the entire 2, the second group is a freshman. They're all freshmen or high school kids. So there's a lot of learning going on in that 2 group because we had so many departing guys. And then Dylan and Marcus, we cleaned up some shoulders on those guys, just general on wear and tear, and so they're not going to go through spring. So we're really young on those sides, so we're not doing a lot. But essentially, we run the same offense, the same plays.
Are there any players who have kind of jumped out or stood out to you through the first 3 practices?
Not really. Today was our first day of pads. I mean, so we haven't done enough to really see anybody that would show up. Rodriguez made a nice play at the end of the game. Malcolm did, intercepted the ball. But other than that, not really.
Mike, your hire for the 10th assistant, Greg Richmond, sort of the opposite of Bill, is a guy you're pretty familiar with. What's it like having him back here?
Greg is an example of what my hiring process should be from this point moving forward. We have enough guys scattered who graduated from here, played here when I've coached here, or have coached here since I've been the head coach here. And I would say that the majority of the coaches that we hire in the future will be from that mold. And he's a perfect fit for us.
What's the process with Larry? At what point are you hoping to find out if he's going to be getting that extra year of eligibility?
We won't know anything until the NCAA rules on that. I think it's April 18th. They're making a decision on changing the rule. If the rule changes, I would say there's probably a 95% chance that he would be active next year.
Added a lot of analysts to the program. What do you envision from them, and what do you think of the guys that you're getting?
The staff's growing. We're playing catch up with the SEC. We've got essentially 6 guys. Those schools are floating around 12 to 15. So we try to build the staff up more each year, but in a way that the manpower is worth the time and effort. I don't want to get so big where we don't actually know what's going on. But we've got some more people on the staff, and I think those guys will help us. We try to bring in a wealth of knowledge from different levels, different directions, different backgrounds, and I think it's a good group.
There are, I think, 4 guys listed as recruiting analysts. Is that a response to the early signing day and the work that you guys
There's so many things changing in recruiting that I don't know that anybody across the country knows what to expect. I know that it's happening faster now than ever, and we feel like we have to have considerable amount of manpower to keep up. We have 10 full-time coaches, and they're coaching full-time right now. And in order to properly evaluate young players that are in our geographical region that we recruit takes a considerable amount of time. Well, that process is taking place now, more so than it ever has. And we didn't have the manpower prior to that. And so you got to up the staffs and try to give yourself a chance to compete with the other guys across the country who are upping their staffs. And so it just becomes a numbers game.
I read recently that the early signing days, a big reason that Duke moved back their spring game, bringing people on visits at the end of the month. Was that something?
Duke?
Yeah.
I was unaware of that.
I think there's the 21st or something. But for you, moving spring back, was recruiting also part of the consideration there?
Honestly, we needed to learn our defense. We needed the extra time. This is a different concept, and so I wasn't excited about practicing prior to spring break and maybe not knowing what we were doing. So I just said, heck with it, we'll just start after spring break. That gave our coaches really an additional 2 weeks, because prior to starting before spring break, you got to get ready the week before. And this gave them some extra time.
You spoke of the analysts, bringing in a special teams analyst. How advantageous is that going to be for you guys?
It's the special teams guy comes in Sunday mornings, and he and I go to work and try to get ready for the week. And now having an analyst, that job should be done on Sunday morning. So I hate to keep using this word, but it's more manpower to allow the full-time coaches to be more detailed in the job they're doing.
How do you like these new banners?
I like them. Y'all like them? They look good, don't they? Yeah. I feel like that we live here now instead of just renting the place. You know how you rent a place, you don't hang any pictures? Y'all are at that stage in your life, right? I mean, up until I was like 28 years old, we never hung any pictures because we got fired so many times. We never were in the house very long. Well, now I feel like we live here instead of renting. So,
Where's the Camping World banner?
the ring's not done, and our graphics and Chris Deal, our media guy, they're a perfectionist, and they want the ring done to take a quality picture with the right camera to get the graphics to where it's perfect. They said if you just use a picture, it won't turn out good. So it should be here in like 4 weeks. They'll take the picture, get the graphics made, send it off. This company's doing these, they'll do it in a couple days. And then we're gonna hang the Big 12 championship over there, Big 12 South, and then on the other side we'll hang major award winners. Those should be up within 2 months, maybe, something like that. But that's pretty good, though. It took 14 years to get those.
I know the process started at the end of last year to move Jelani to Cowboy back. What went into that decision? Do you just feel like he can get on the field faster there? Or?
Yeah, he's 260. Feel like that his long term is maybe more so at that position than quarterback. And he had played that position up until the last year until high school. See, he only played quarterback for a couple years, and he was a tight end. So it was kind of a smooth transition. We like his length and athletic ability. This will be a growing and learning year for him. Whatever we get out of him this first year is a bonus. But I would expect at this time next year that you'll start to see him make some big time improvement.
It's a different body type than you guys have had at that position.
He's long and can catch. You know, he's athletic and can run.
Coach, you have a lot of talent at the backup running back spot. Are you looking for one guy to take that spot or more of a committee approach?
Yeah, it'll be a committee just because these guys get beat up and you got to put another guy in. We could be as deep and as talented at that position as anybody in the country. I don't know who else. I don't know what anybody else has, but when you look at what we have, if LD continues to come on and Chuba does what we think he can do until he gets developed, we should be pretty good at that spot and be very deep.
You said last year Justice was maybe one of the best out there in the country.
Yeah.
What are you kind of expecting out of him going forward, and how have you kind of seen him progress?
Well, I mean, he's doing good. You know, he's stronger and faster and maturing, and you know, he's kind of become a veteran player now. The good news is with King and Chuba and LD that we can keep him fresh. I was concerned in a big way last year, as I told you guys, about him taking too many hits, and I would like to keep him limited to maybe 16, 18 carries a game. Let those other guys take some of those hits. And you have the luxury of a guy, you know, when you talk about LD, he's going to pound you, or not LD, JD. I got too many initials. JD's going to pound on you and be fresh when you're tired. And then you have LD and Chuba, who are, you know, sprinters, and they should bring the other dimension to the game. So I'm excited about those guys.